Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
Again, hope you're joining us for the last 2 days here. Still some playoff teams to be determined. We've got C event action this morning across 3 sheets. 3 winners this morning. We'll move on to the C qualifier games this afternoon. If you're joining me here, the game we've got features Aaron Sluchinski against Dallan Muyres. Procedure in the preliminary round is always the same. The 2 teams have a practice session before the game and draw to determine who's got last rock and first end of play. It was Dallan Muyres winning that draw to the button. They have last rock here in the first, throwing the yellow stones. And an attempt to come by the guard, make a play on shot rock, just rubs it, now pushes it into the ring. So Sluchinski sitting 2 early in this end. Team out of Calgary, the lead Dallan Webster. This is the second Kerr Drummond. Jeremy Hardy is the third. The skip Aaron Sluchinski. Putting up the center guard, not so much worried about guarding anything that's there, just needs a center guard if he's going to try to set up the steal. Dallan Muyres, of course, wants to stay out of that steal situation. He's got the guard to deal with as well as 2 in the ring, so looking to run this back on a bit of an angle, see if he can't move 2 red stones here. Manages to make contact with the stone at the top of the 12, but it did stay in the rings, in behind the tight yellow corner. So now Aaron Sluchinski looking again for a tight center guard.
Hey, good morning, Sean. I'm here.
All right, we're a little under the gun getting started. They started a little early on us this morning, and of course you can sort of understand that for these teams coming through the C event, they're hoping for a very long day today. If you win this game, you're back on the ice at 2, and if you can win that one, you're into the championship round. You start playing the quarterfinals at 7 o'clock tonight.
Oh, that is a long road.
It is, but when you fall down to the sea, you'll take the long road if that's what you get. And boy, you know, how many of these bonspiels have you been at as a player, as a spectator, where you've seen a team that perhaps struggles a little bit early, has to come through the sea, but then because they've played more games and they've been on the ice, they can start to get on a roll. And you will see teams come through the sea and do very well in the playoffs. So to some extent, there's a bit of an advantage to that. And we're late enough into the season that the extra games may not be hurting them.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Yeah, probably not like my bonspiel teams, which are negatively affected by the Sunday 8 a.m. semifinal games.
So looking to play the short run and try to squirt the Yellowstone across. Does that very well. Actually, pretty much dead in behind cover. Now the red stone belonging to Sluchinski is shot rock.
Yeah. It looks like it's peeking out a little bit, so I mean they might be able to get to it quiet, but I don't know if they can ever. They can maybe get it to the 12 foot, but
I think probably content to play the corner freeze on it. It does two things. It'll give them a way to get it out later. Plus, it will serve to protect their stone at the edge of the 4 foot.
yeah. Got some room here.
Boy, curling now. They
There's
like to
that
sit on the
finish,
corner. This is going to get to the face. Enough weight to move it, but that just taps it up for shot rock. Does put it behind the tee line, though.
Yeah.
Still behind cover. The Dallan Muyres team plays out of Saskatoon, but their players are actually spread all over. The lead's Dustin Mikush, the second Jordan Tardy. This is the third, Garrett Springer. Dallan Muyres, the skip. Looking to bring this into the top 8 foot, maybe nibble a 4 foot sit too. He wants to be behind cover. Wow, that's an excellent draw.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen excellent finish all weekend long at this event.
I've talked about it a few times in previous broadcasts. A lot of times with these rocks that are conditioned right before an event starts, you see them very aggressive with the curl, especially the late finish, and then they'll settle down a little bit as the event goes on. You'll still get curl, just maybe not as aggressive at the end. Well, here we are. This is draw 8 for the weekend, and he's coming around a rock that was at the top of the 8 foot, and he's still half buried in the 4. Like, there's still big finish on these stones. Big enough finish that he's able to come around with what had to be hack weight.
Yeah.
Gets both of them moving. Neither one leaves the rings, but for now, Sluchinski sitting 3. There might be a double available, but tough for Dallan Muyres to ever deal with the third one. So those biters at the back, not likely to ever come into play. it was playing the double all along. So, and with mics on the players, hard to know exactly what the discussion was there. Maybe a little bit about the weight. It does appear to be fairly flat double. Boy, and this one's going on them. It clips the guard, actually, and in a way, perhaps fortunate that it did, because if that gets by the guard, I think he had the hole. By moving the guard out of the way, you've only got 2 shots left. Deuce is almost out of the question now. You have to start thinking about making sure you have a shot to score. Aaron Sluchinski looking to put a guard on the shot stone at the top of the 4. Pressure's off and on a little bit, just trying to sweep this to the right spot as far as the line is concerned. And again, a good look at it as you look from the shooter's end. You see how much finish there is from the hog line in still here in draw 8. And Dallan Muyres has a bit of trouble here. He's got access to a double, but that won't give him anywhere near a shot rock, and it really doesn't open up a path for him to throw his last one either. You could run the guard, but you probably, in order to get anything that helps you a lot for your last one, you probably have to run it towards the stone at the top of the 8, hope to clip it, come back, catch the stone in the 4. That's what he's looking at. And that's just to make sure you've got a shot for your last one. You forget about scoring multiples here. You're just trying to have a path to throw your last stone. You could play the straight back run back and try to peel that one on the top of the 4. The problem with that is your shooter stays there. Aaron Sluchinski comes around it. You're still in trouble. This is your best bet to make sure you've got a path for your last one, and it's certainly not the shot they'd like to be throwing with their first stone and first skip stone in the first end.
Is there ever a consideration to maybe play a corner freeze on the intern side and then play that little runner on the last one?
Oh, it's the producer must have heard you because he put the overhead up, because I needed to see that, and it's the corner freeze only helps you if you could get second shot, and it's tough to say.
Oh,
that one on the edge of the 4 foot does look like it's got a little nibble of the 4 foot. If you corner freeze and you can't get shot rock playing it later, then it doesn't help you. This is the shot that has the potential to help him the most, but this is a tough shot. Now, even if he just clears 2, if he makes the angle run to the stone at the top of the 12 foot and just doubles those 2, he's going to have a path into the second shot rock. Boy, you couldn't have passed it through that port. If you'd have called it, you'd have never made that. Didn't even realize there was a hole there to drive it through. How he got it through without touching anything, that's just a bit of bad luck.
Yeah, you figure it, if he doesn't get the one on the top 4, he gets the one on the side of the 4, and maybe gives himself a little bit of room to operate. But
well, if he gets the one at the side of the 4, Sluchinski throws this guard. You throw a draw, and presumably you're going to get 8 foot. At worst, it's a steal of 1. You're still looking at, if Aaron Sluchinski makes a good guard here, you're having to draw extremely wide to try to catch the edge of the 4 foot, and there's a reasonable chance it's a steal of 2 here.
Having just played this line and just played this guard, imagine this one will be very close.
Sweeper's doing an excellent job off and on, and they put that right exactly in line with the stone, the top of the 4 foot. Dallan Muyres looking at that same consideration you just had, if he comes to the corner of that red, would he be second shot?
Gosh.
That's not a look of happiness as you
Yeah.
tap the broom like that. And it's not that this draw isn't there; it's that it's the first end. So much of the pregame practice is geared on draw to the button, so he'd have to go extremely wide into ice that they haven't thrown against 3. And I think what they've decided, if they come down to the red at the top of the 4-foot, they're not sure that they'd be second shot.
Yeah.
You hate to play a draw like that just to cut him to 2. There is probably room through the port on the out-turn side, come down and just chisel in off the stone
Yeah.
in the 4-foot. It
That's
doesn't
from-
look good. Yeah, it's tough. He could score. It's a tough shot. But I think probably the reason why they're looking at it is now you've got the broom inside the ice that you've already played.
Yeah.
You know, you're not having to go out so wide that you're on the fresh ice.
I mean, at this point, do you ever just consider playing the double there, the run double, just to give up 1 and just move on to the next end?
You could be a consideration. It's not. No double's ever a gimme.
Yeah.
You'd have to hit it perfectly on the nose. If you're a little bit to the inside, you probably jam the second one. It's still 2. If you're a little on the outside, you miss the second one. It's still 2. But you're right. I think there are teams that would play the double. Now, having said that, while this port is tough, you would expect him to get in at least to be third shot. The trick is going to be, he's got to make the port perfectly. And they've got to wait on this to curl. Starting to move now. It's moving. Now they're sweeping from the offside to get a little extra curl. If he's by the red, he will catch the shot stone. Comes across, and what a great shot by Dallan Muyres. Actually picks up the single here. So put 1 point on the board for Dallan Muyres. Aaron Sluchinski will have last rock in the second.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
One of 8 berths in the championship round that starts tonight at 7 o'clock. We've got 5 teams through to the playoffs, 6 teams on the ice this morning in the C event, 3 more teams in the C event waiting to find out who they'll play. Only 2 teams eliminated so far. We'll eliminate 3 more teams this morning and determine our last 3 playoff games in the 2 o'clock draw this afternoon. Playoff teams in the 2 o'clock draw this afternoon. Quarterfinals at 7 o'clock tonight. Dallan Muyres, an outstanding final shot, picks up the single point with his last rock in end number 1. Aaron Sluchinski had some pressure on him there for that entire end, though, and if they can do something like that this end with last rock, would be able to put up a crooked number. So Dallan Muyres and the team going to have to pick up their effort just a little bit. They didn't certainly have the start to this game that they'd like to have.
Yeah, I mean that was a heck of a shot by Muyres there. I wasn't sure it was there. Was able to use that rock on the side of the 4 as a little bit of a catcher, so ends up sticking pretty much full forefooted for the single.
Get the long center guard thrown to start this end. Dylan Webster on his first came to the corner of the button, looking to come down again now and sit on the corner of that yellow stone, biting the edge of the 4. Pretty much right where they tapped the ice. Dallan Muyres now looking to come around corner freeze, and he's coming from the other side just because he wants to cue this up on the other angle. This is one thing we haven't seen a lot yet this week, but you do in a lot of these competitions where when you see teams competing to get the angle they want on their rocks, they do have to come from opposite sides. Sluchinski's got everything queued up right now to remove the yellow. If Dallan Muyres wants an angle to be able to get rid of the red, he's got a corner freeze on the other side. Boy, that's a very good shot because he not only did he cue it up, but he, with that little bit of a nudge, he took away the red-yellow angle because the red's now not overlapped. Does look like Sluchinski sitting 2 right now. But Muyres has angles on both of his yellows that he could play to remove red stones. Kerr Drummond being asked to come down and set up an angle for the Sluchinski team. Got a nice angle there, but it's a couple of feet short.
So at some point here, do you ever just consider growing? And I guess it depends if you're hammer or if you're without. But do you ever consider just throwing up kind of like a in between guard, like maybe like not really a corner, but kind of blocking some of those angles? Would that have made more sense for Sluchinski there?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But because he's got last rock and all the play right now is around the middle, I would almost say no. You know, you put a guard on the other side, you've taken away one side of the sheet, and there's a lot of rocks that yet to come. Jordan Tardy now looking to come around from the out-turn side. They've got 2 good angles already on the in-turn side. Don't have to play them yet. This is one of the things that especially with younger teams, and Dallan's an experienced skip, but with younger teams, sometimes you will see them not necessarily as patient as they could be. They might have played those in-turn shots already. Now they didn't get the result they were looking for here, but it still works because the yellow-red angle at the top probably clips the yellow at the top of the 8-foot in a way that it would slash back onto one of the reds. So what I was going to say, you don't have to play those angles yet. Those angles are in your favor. There isn't a lot that Aaron Sluchinski can do about them. So now you try to set something up from the other side. If you've got it surrounded, even though Sluchinski might be sitting too, you had you made the corner freeze there, it's one of those situations where Sluchinski would have been sitting too, but Dallan Muyres probably would have been in better shape of the two teams. Didn't get the corner freeze they were looking for. It does leave Sluchinski a chance to get another one in, but you can see already they're talking about and concerned about those two angles on the in-turn side. We can pile him in all day from the out-turn side, but he's going to make one of those angles at some point in time, and then we're in trouble.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of gets back to my question. It's just like, how do we deal with this, right? So my initial thought, right, was if you put a guard there, does that force or maybe delay the action a little bit, you know?
Well, I mean, they could always run the guard straight back too. The angles on the yellows are just so good.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And later in the end, you might to take it away. I'm just not sure you do it this early. And boy, I'm really not sure with where I think it's Jeremy Hardy tapping 12 foot. If you're putting it on that side at all, I don't think you want it that tight to the rings. That makes the run back very short.
Because you never can play it right now, or just try to tap that yellow just to maybe unlock the angle or change it, because it just.
I know what you mean. We have seen teams do that a lot of times. They'll even blast. You might even kill one of your own just to get rid of an angle, but there's not a good shot that way. I think what they've settled on is just peel the guard, because we know that Dallan Muyres is going to have these eventually. So they want to have a way to get in there and maybe move things around themselves. It's tough right now. All of the angles favoring Dallan Muyres, including the two out front. So they're going to just peel the long guard for now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. If you don't know what to do, peeling's always seems to be a good call.
You know, we're still only on, that was still just second stone, so you start peeling guards now and you make room. Dallan Muyres' first thought was to put the guard back, and I think that's, you know, a case of, and it's a good point. If the other team wanted to peel it, maybe we should just put it back. They obviously didn't like it.
Yeah,
this would be just a case of making your decision as to when do you want to play that angle. So right now, Aaron Sluchinski can't kill any of the Yellowstones, really. I mean, I guess he could pick the top one off without hurting himself, but he's not really helping himself much either. But the minute you play one of those angles, he is going to have an escape route for at least one of the Yellowstones. So you don't want to play it too early. On the other side of that coin, there's the concern, exactly what you've been talking about. If you wait too long, do they just guard it? And now if you're going to play it, you have to play it as a run back.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a team discussion, and so what this could come down to is if they're sure that Sluchinski would peel one more time, they might throw the guard up, and maybe they're not so sure that he's going to throw another peel. So they're going to play the angle now, playing the top one. I'm sure they discussed all the options. I might have been tempted to play the back one. The danger here is if you hit the first one thin and do make the angle, you might leave your third shot stone. This is all over the front.
This is going to cross the face of the front.
I didn't see the release, and of course we didn't see the brushers right out of the hand, so we don't know if he got that going, but Garrett Springer's stone in the last end took off on them too. I think it was his second stone last end. This was his first. It does give Sluchinski team a chance to play Yellow onto yellow by the looks of here. I don't think he's worried about getting the double because I think he'd like to keep his shooter. So just trying to jam one yellow onto the other.
Yeah.
And at least take away one angle. Roll the shooter across. Might leave a double on the reds. That's why you want to keep the shooter. Just with that nice quiet weight does.
Pretty good result.
Kill one yellow, takes away the angle. Leaves a double on the reds in the 4-foot, but for Dallan Muyres to make that double, probably has to hit it just a hair off the broom. He's going to roll into his own yellow and definitely leave a double back. So Dallan looking at just jamming the first one and rolling behind cover. It would leave him sitting second and third. And Shot Rock would be exposed in the 4-foot. The other option, of course, he could play the double. Yes, he's going to roll into his own, leave a double back for Sluchinski, and then you should have a double on the two reds that would be remaining. A little bit more separation on those two rocks, though, tougher shot.
This one's growing a bit too.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and look myself, but I think the hit that overcurled on him in the first end might have been an in-turn as well. So
yeah,
maybe just need to give him a little bit more ice on his in-turn this morning, because they do appear to be curling.
Yeah.
That was both of them this end, so you really can't fault a rock.
No, I mean,
This is sort of a new lineup for Muyres this year, except that three of the players actually, Dallan Muyres was the alternate last year for Ryan Dice, and Garrett Springer, Dustin Bush were playing with Dice, and because of Dice's commitments to mixed doubles, he was playing that, attempting to get the Olympic berth, and as well he had a baby last year. He wasn't on the ice as much, and Dallan played a lot, so as much as it's a new lineup, he should be familiar with these guys. He saw them a lot last year, and he was holding the broom. Jeremy Hardy with the hit rolls all the way over to the corner of the other yellow stone, so it's Sluchinski sitting 3. Dallan Muyres looking at playing the hit and roll across. Got several options here on the roll.
mm-hmm.
He's looking at, can he get right to the corner of that red stone?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have to get all the way over. If he gets to just behind the red in the top of the 8-foot, that's...
Just behind the red's okay, even if he rolls in, the two yellows up front are staggered, so if he rolls dead in behind the tighter of those two, the stagger probably goes by.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he can't, yeah. I don't know how much separation there is between the yellow that's outside the rings and then the red that's in the top 8. I don't know if there's some sort of like angle tap there later, but that appears to be pretty tight.
Yeah. Well, and right now though, if you're facing 3, you'd be happy to make Aaron Sluchinski play a shot like that. There's a good look from the overhead at the amount of separation.
Yeah.
You're right though, with where he's going to be rolling, he's not going to be very far behind that red stone in the 8-foot. If he just rolls over there, leaves an angle.
This one's got a curl.
Well, and how much of that was caused by what you just watched from the 2 stones thrown by Garrett Springer? And back to the question is, does he need a little bit more ice than everybody else right now?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That one felt like it was a little bit more weight.
It did, but that could be that could be a subconscious thing where you just watched 2 of Garrett Springer's rocks over curl, and so you overcompensate for it.
Just a nose hit here, right? No need to flop either way, really.
Yeah, I think so. Try to keep it away from all the guards on the other side. Dallan Muyres still probably going to have to try to roll all the way across, so you want to make that roll as long as possible. They were sweeping from the offside just because they don't have a lot of room to roll to the outside and still be shot. It rolls a couple of inches back towards center. Puck's high enough up in the rings. He's still got the angle that he would need if he wants to roll all the way to the corner of that red. Probably better at this point if he stays buried somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're buried, even if you leave that short angle run, the red in the 8-foot onto the stone you're about to roll over with, the shooter's going to roll. So it's going to be no more than 2. You have to get some cover here, though.
Yeah. And we're having to play the intern for a little bit of a flatter roll here.
Flatter roll. Some teams it's preference. He could play the out here. It's high enough up. He doesn't need to roll that flat. But
Okay.
There are a lot of teams will have a preference whether they like to play outside in, inside out.
Yeah, and they've kind of played this outside in line for their hits this end. Let's see if we can get the right ice here.
Dallan Muyres, final stone here in the second end, facing 3 without last rock. Needs to hit and roll behind cover. Dustin Mikush on the brush. Early, now they've backed away. Waiting for this to curl. It's close. Needs to curl a little bit more, I think. Makes the hit. Rolls across, but doesn't quite get any piece of that stone. It just edge to edge, I think, with the stone out front. Enough for Aaron Sluchinski to make a play on it, try to stay right there, and if he can, he'll be able to pick up 3 points here in the second end. They had pressure on Dallan Muyres in the first end, didn't have last rock. They've had pressure on them again here through much of this second, although you can't vault the Muyres front end. They had the angles in their favor early, and then the last 4 shots, the 4 intern hits between Garrett Springer and Dallan Muyres, and they're just not getting the same results out of those 2 throwers as far as the amount of curl they're getting, and that's something Dallan's going to have to pick up on pretty quickly. Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone. Comes down, makes the hit, has lots of room to roll. Doesn't need it. He'll stay right there. Put 3 points on the board for Aaron Sluchinski. He's got a 3-1 lead now over Dallan Muyres. It'll be Muyres with last rock again in the third.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
First stone of the end, you see the longer center guard. Dallan Muyres asked for the corner. Dustin Mikush puts the tight corner, and then Aaron Sluchinski, and I apologize, I didn't see where he asked for this, playing the tighter center here around the long one, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
It's probably too long to just straight come around it.
No, with the amount of finish we're getting here, you're gonna need a few here.
Will slide into the rings, but it is fairly well in line to the stone at the top. And really, a stone in a 12-foot is just a guard on this ice.
Yeah.
The only thing by sliding in is that Dallan Muyres would have the option to make a play on it, but it is still covered by the longer guard. Dallan down 2 here. He's going to try to get some offense going. Looking now to use that corner guard.
And, we'll see how tight this is to the center guard.
It is, with a reverse stagger port and the amount of finish that there is on these stones, it is a tighter port than you'd think.
Yeah.
Boy, look at that. He was only by the center guard by maybe 4 inches and almost rubbed the corner coming by. We've seen it all weekend. It shouldn't be that surprising, but it's still...
No, it's...
You almost laugh to watch it. It's just...
Yeah, we know it's there before the shot, but then to to visually see it, right? Even from my perspective, it's interesting. So I can imagine it from the thrower's perspective, you know.
But the throwers will love it. The players love it. I have to admit, playing it myself, you love to see ice like this because there's no excuses. Any shot can be made. There's nothing. The ice and the rocks will give you the ability to get where you need to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they were looking to come around there a little bit short. Ends up on the corner of his own stone. So Dallan Muyres gonna look to make a play on the longer center guard. That'll leave the 2 reds tight to the rings, accessible later, and they're lined up for a double. The only concern might be, does the second rock go straight into the yellow? We might not play the double later. Looking to get a couple of things out of this, not just the peel on the center, but I think they're looking to roll over, kind of give themselves double corners, because you know this Sluchinski team can hit well, and with a 2-point lead, they're going to try to run the corner through.
This one's close to nose.
Well, not Garrett Springer this time, but another over curl on the intern side. Nose hits the guard, does move the 2 reds, but how unfortunate can you get when you hit like that to tap one of the reds straight back and leave it behind the guard for shot rock? Like, that is dead lined up to the guard.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, Aaron Sluchinski with the lead just wants to deal with the yellow rocks in the ring, so playing the shorter run back, gets the double. Shooter rolls towards center, stays for a guard. How quickly things have swung around again here in the third end.
Yeah, so at this point you're just trying to blanket here.
Likely, and as much as anything else, I think because they've been in some trouble through the early 2 ends, Dallan Muyres wanting to bail out early while they've got a chance, just clean things up, not play too aggressively in the odd end anyway. Dare I say it, the trick might be to play out turns, looking for the double with the out turn, makes it. Rolls the shooter over to a corner guard. So just the 1 stone in the rings, 1 corner guard belonging to Muyres. Shot rock is red stone belonging to Sluchinski, and they're going to look to guard that now. If Sluchinski was content to let him blank, he could simply walk up and peel the corner guard. But he's got a good stone in the top of the rings, a chance to put a guard on it, and the Muyres team still has some work to do if they're going to get to a blank.
Oh yeah, exactly, right. And I mean they did. I mean, I guess technically kind of miss a peel attempt earlier this end, right? When they ended up just kind of getting to nose here. So nothing quite routine here. So. He's got a lot of work to do to cross center here.
Yeah, they're working on making this one curl, and it looks a little light as well. It can be one of the things that you run into with these aggressive stones when you call for a guard, and it definitely was called for tighter than that. So you give the amount of ice that you need to have a guard that would be, let's say, inside the air bar logo, and then you throw it 8 to 10 feet short of that. Well, it's had 8 to 10 feet less time to curl, and it doesn't get to the line you need.
Yeah, you'd almost rather take it where it over curls here, because now he can get to it and possibly roll to underneath his corner.
He's got the option, I think, here to roll behind either guard that he'd like.
Yeah.
Probably first choice would be a roll behind his own corner. Garrett Springer had some over curls on the intern. Nice attempt there from the out. Didn't get all the way under cover. Looks like he's got a sliver of the edge of that stone under the guard. Psychologically, this could be an important end for Garrett Springer, just to get a couple of shots like that he makes something at least close to what they were looking for. Doesn't have that massive over curl that he had on really his last 3 stones have all massively over curled. So needs a shot of confidence. This is in danger of going right by. Now a little bit of movement at the end, catches the stone, and with that nice control weight, might be able to hold the shooter in the back of the 12-foot. Does. Dallan Muyres not really interested in playing all out aggressive in the odd end here, so they're going to make the hit on that, try to stay right there. This is definitely a shot of play for the blank, because if you wanted to play for 2, and in the even end he might, this would be your chance to come around. And you see that with a lot of these teams. Odd end, they would play this to hit and blank. Even end, they may very well come around, try to get the deuce. And there is bonus good measure for Garrett Springer. Makes the intern hit as called.
Yeah.
And you know, when you've had a bit of a shaky start to the game, an end like this might be what it takes to turn things around.
Yeah, just kind of a routine end, kind of reset, almost like, you know, your typical first hand where you're just kind of trading hits. End up with the blank here, so. You know, I suppose the tough part is, like, Sluchinski just kind of has to play along right there. I mean, going on to the center would be just way too aggressive.
Yeah, well, Sluchinski's got a 2-point lead. He's not really worried about forcing the play here. He's in a comfortable situation. He knows that Dallan Muyres eventually has to force the issue. You can be patient. Makes the hit, rolls a rock's width to the outside. You may see him on his last stone try to roll behind the guard just to get a force that way. With a 2-point lead, I didn't expect him to play for the roll on his first one, because you make it perfect, you've now forced Dallan Muyres to try to score 2.
Yeah.
Aaron has had some pressure on Dallan, certainly through the first end, and then once the angles changed in the second, they've had pressure on him, say an end and a half out of the first 2 ends. So he can wait for Dallan Muyres to force the play, knowing that his team has been able to apply some pressure when needed. Dallan Muyres now looking to hit, stay out in the open, and this one's curling on him. He's not staying right there. Not sure he's going to stay in the rings at all. This is going to roll through the back. Well, now a chance for Aaron Sluchinski to put some pressure on. The center guard is long, but if you dead bury it, as much as Dallan Muyres can get to a rock that's dead buried on this ice, I don't know that you'd be able to risk a shot like that going for the blank. You might be forced to try to get your single. If he comes into the button area, Dallan may play for the blank. Just the two guards. Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone here in the third end, leading by a score of 3-1. Looking to come around the center guard. I think they tapped the ice for just biting the top of the forefoot.
Yep.
You're going to leave Dallan Muyres some room to draw, but this is the thing. The deeper you come with the amount of separation there is to the guard, the more tempting it becomes for Dallan Muyres to try to blank this end.
A little bit of finish, and that's pretty
Full
buried.
8, but they couldn't really sweep it much more. It was liable to come out the other side. He can see a sliver of it. It looked like Garrett Springer's first thought was to go for the blank. He almost had the broom down already.
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's. I mean, the ice is there, right? And
Yeah.
Muyres has played some great shots and bailed his team out of some really sticky ends. But you know, there's a.
I know what you're thinking. In order to get the blank here, you have to. And again, look at the broom. He's got to play a little bit of finesse because he needs some finish around the guard.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the redstone at the top of the 8-foot has to go 9 to 10 feet because it's on an angle to get out of the rings. And your shooter still has to roll, probably 7 with what you're going to hit. So you have to have enough weight to move. It looks tough. It would be very tempting to just take your single.
Yeah,
bite the bullet. You missed your first shot. You bite the bullet and take your one.
3-2 is a lot different than.
Well, it's 4-1 now because he's all over the guard. Not sure. For the Muyres team, they've been struggling with the intern hits. That's another one that crashes for them. That's another steal of 1 for Aaron Sluchinski. 4-1 lead. As we go into the fourth end, it'll be Muyres with last rock once again.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
There's so much out there to see. Look up, look down. Quick, look over there. Look for a little trouble, but not too much. Open your eyes to something new every day. The hustle, the bustle, the calm, the serene. Maybe then you'll see that sometimes you have to go far to get a little closer. So wake up. The day is far from over. Seize the days.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
Sunday morning.
So Sean, I've got to ask you here. We've seen a lot of shots from the Muyres back end, kind of over curl here, right? So it's different rocks. It's different the different rocks that are over curling, right? So we can't think it's just, you know, maybe 4 rocks that curl a lot, right? Do we think it's they're not picking up the ice, or maybe something in the release?
Well, again, going back to what I was talking about the second, I think it's in the release. Garrett Springer had the couple that over curled early, and then of course in the second end we saw Garrett Springer over curled on both of his. Dallan Muyres on his first one throwing an intern hit threw more weight, which I think he was. It's a guess. We can't hear the players, so we don't hear the conversation. But he watched 2 of Garrett Springer's over curl, and so he overcompensated himself, threw harder, hit broomside, rolled out. And so now there's questions in their mind. They've gone back and forth. They haven't made, except perhaps one intern hit that they've made exactly the way they wanted. Everything else, they've been a little bit offline. And so now they're questioning everything in their mind. So maybe not even throwing them clean just because of those questions. Confidence is a funny thing. When you don't have it, when you're questioning things, suddenly you're not throwing them clean either. You get it in the back of your mind. It's those negative thoughts that come in. Well, I over curled in the last one. I better make sure I throw more weight on this one, or I better make sure I'm not narrow on this one. And what you end up doing is you either throw it heavy or you throw it wide.
Yeah.
And so now you miss it the other way, and it starts to snowball after a while, and in this case it looks like it's affecting both of them. Might be one of those situations where if you could, you'd love to play an end from the out turn side. Just get those interns take them out of the equation for an end. Make 4 good shots on the intern.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, on the out turn, and then once you've got your confidence back. We're looking to cross the face on that and roll across. Still, that's not a bad result when you're down 3. That yellow stone at the top of the house is a short run under the shot stone. Aaron Sluchinski can't just peel it out of there without leaving the red stone exposed. And this is still just the 5th, so he can't peel the corner guard either. So going to throw a guard on the center.
Yeah, it does improve their position, right? Would have loved to get 2 there, but I mean, honestly, at this point, just getting anything that's positive is great.
Does leave him the short run in the middle. Sluchinski trying to take that away. Needs some separation between the guards. You see him indicating, I want this up nice and high. Rusher's looking for some extra curl here, though. With that extra curl, or having it up higher, you need you've got less time for it to curl. Not perfectly in line, but it does take away the run back. So Dallan looking for the split. Jordan Tardy in the hacks. Chance to get 2 into the rings here. They won't be shot rock, but they might be able to get 1 behind the corner, 1 out in the open. And in so doing, they'd open up a path to that shot rock as well. This is close, really close.
This is very close, yeah.
Makes the tap, does roll the shooter at least half in behind cover. And again, now that same path is available to get to shot stone. Aaron Sluchinski not likely to ignore 2 yellow stones in the rings just to guard it, so he's going to make a play on the open stone. Signaling that he'd like to roll all the way across, but I think they might like to stop under the center guard here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's...
Might not be second shot if he does that, but it would protect shot stone. Makes the hit, will roll past and into the edge of the other yellow stone, which actually nudges it further in behind the guard and probably has left a double on the Reds. It's flat, but there's not a lot of distance between the 2 of them either.
Yeah. I think he should be able to get to it again.
Yeah.
Looks like he's indicating he think he might be able to roll up too after making contact on the one on the center line.
Hard to tell without even from the overhead. Some of these are hard to tell, but even if he just comes dead into the side of that stone. Well, if you're trying to spin up, I don't think they're trying to spin up with that amount of ice. If you're trying to spin up, you need the flat roll, and you need bigger weight. So you just try to roll into it. Even if you don't kill the second one, pop it well out into the open would be okay here too. But this is really curling on him. They're going to hit and stay right there. They might be okay there. I'm not sure that there's a double on the yellows.
Yeah, it looked like they were tapping just for no, so
they're pretty close to even, and you really can't get to the middle of the two of them. You nose hit this, it will be the Muyres stone will still be second shot, I believe. Looking for a little extra curl. They'd like to stay right there, and they do. So it is Sluchinski sitting shot top 8. The Muyres stone in behind the corner guard is second shot. The one that was just thrown sits third. And there is room to get to that shot stone.
Oof, this is
on the intern. Yeah, I know.
This is
a big shot.
This is a big shot.
Down by 3, but this is a shot that could set up really at least 2, because if you manage to roll behind the corner on this, the yellows are all buried. And again, on his intern side, Jared Spring.
The guard. Oh my gosh.
But after it got by, you might have stopped sweeping. You may as well bury it after that.
Yeah, you might as well bury it. Yeah, you're never getting the roll
never
there.
rolling.
Oh, so that's, I mean, gosh, yeah. I say this just because I know I've had that feeling, right, where you just you don't know where to put the broom, and you don't know if it's your release, you don't know if it's your weight, you don't know if it's mistreating the ice.
Well, it still worked out for them. I mean, they made the hit. They're sitting 2. I don't see an obvious double. The easiest double is probably, that's the one Aaron's just looking at right now, is you got to chisel the side of the red.
Yeah.
And then come
like
into the other
yeah.
yellow. Well, it's very thin to make that. It's real easy to miss the second yellow if you play that. He does have a direct path to shot rock. The problem is, how do you roll? Where do you roll?
I mean, I almost like this here where you're rolling and just rolling underneath the...
You could nose hit here. You nose hit. What does Dallan Muyres do with it? It will be shot rock. He can't hit it again and be second. He's got no double because it'll jam onto the yellow. Boy, this one's taking off towards the guard too, and it's going to rub.
Wow.
Well, that cleans up the center. But it still creates the same, similar issue now for Dallan Muyres. Where do you put the next one? I'm looking at the split myself, and so is he, I think.
Yeah.
The problem with leaving that stone exactly where it is and it's shot rock is that Sluchinski can make the hit and roll undercover and kind of take your end away. So you play the split, very similar to the shot that Jordan Tardy made, although you probably have to come from the other direction to make it. Get one in behind the 3 stones on the left side as we look at the house, and one way over to the open side.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room.
It's a tougher shot.
Yeah.
You know, you'd love to be playing simple shots, but this is your best shot to set up 3.
Yeah.
They opted for the simple shot though. Just draw over there straight. This is going back to what happened in the third end. You can make that same case there. Dallan Muyres with his last one had a choice between a more routine, simple open draw, although he did have to go a little bit wide, or the blank attempt, which is a tougher shot but a better result. And that's the same debate they're having here. We can get one to the open side, an easy shot, just draw there straight, and they've gone back and forth. Now they're back to playing what is essentially the tougher shot but the better result.
Yeah. Sweeper's on this early here. I'm wondering if this is going to over-curl.
It looks like they were playing to push in behind the corner guard, so they're trying to hold it on the outside. Doesn't get the spread they were looking for, but that's not a horrible result either for Aaron Sluchinski to play the double. He would have to roll away from that. He's looking at it at the other double. Again, hitting the red, coming across, and I guess it's a little flatter now. He doesn't have to hit it quite so thin. I need to see the overhead. Could you ever get all three of them here?
Oh, that's a good question.
You catch the edge of the red, it catches the side of the yellow, and then
backside, yeah.
And then it's coming back, and your shooter comes across and gets the other one. That might be what they're looking at. It's hard to tell. My tendency would be to think it probably slides past the one in the 4-foot, but I wouldn't want to bet the farm on that.
I mean, it's in the realm of possibilities here. So it's gonna be maybe a bit thicker.
Close. Makes the hit, comes across. He does touch the stone in the 4-foot. It will stay back 8, but I think. Well, Sluchinski's definitely got shot rock on the edge of the 8-foot. Looking around the outside, it's a little hard to tell from our angles with that logo there. Who's got second shot? I don't think the Muyres team is sure either.
Are you talking about just drawing it in the corner here and just? I guess
if he's talking about drawing around the corner, then you have to think they believe Sluchinski's second at the top of the 8-foot. If Aaron's got second shot up there, that rock at the back, you've only got 2 rocks left. You're never bringing it in anyway. So that's why they're now taking a closer look, because if you think you've got second shot at the back, you really need to make a play on shot rock here.
Mm-hmm.
You could play it as a freeze.
Oof.
I don't think they're looking at a draw there. I think that's some discussion about possible hit and roll.
Yeah, that's just asking for a really big roll there. Yeah.
I don't think they're looking at the roll. I think they're worried that's what Sluchinski's going to do. I'd be shocked if they were trying to roll over and group their rocks. This is probably, I'd have to think they're looking for a nose hit right here. Really know where to hide this though. If you roll over to the outside to guard it behind the corner guard, you're not shot rock for sure. So you hit it on the nose. Aaron Sluchinski will have a double. It's going to be a little bit on the thin side. Kind of have to give him that at this point in the end.
Yeah.
Is waiting on a sweep call and need this to curl. It's going to make the hit. It will roll a little bit towards the center line. Does make for a more awkward angle for the double, but it also leaves a shorter roll if Sluchinski wants to get in behind cover.
Yeah, I think just roll, yeah.
Likely.
Yeah, with the 3-point lead, right? Don't need to go hard for the double here, and
no. Well, not even sure who's got second shot yet. I've seen both teams look at it. I haven't seen anybody point. It's close. It's
yeah.
Dare we say it after the games that you and I had yesterday, Mark?
Yeah, sure.
We might still see the measuring stick come out, but
yeah, measure for second. That'd be a new one.
If Sluchinski makes the roll here, I don't think we're going to see the measuring stick because I think Scoreboard dictates Dallan Muyres is going to have to try the straight back double.
This one's got a curl here.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting the roll behind cover. Well, and by being where it is, it'd be tough for Dallan Muyres to play any kind of double.
No,
and
you're never sticking, so just hit and hope for the measure.
Yeah, I think we are going to see the measurement. Had that rolled, a rock's width towards the center line, if you were in any doubt at all, you could play the double.
Yeah.
But you make the hit here, make sure you're on the scoreboard, and then measure it for the second point, and it is close. I've seen players from both teams take multiple looks, so I don't think anybody's sure yet.
No.
The Muyres team did play this like they think they have second shot, because Dallan was looking at just coming around the corner. If he thought that Sluchinski was already second, he could have played that. Muyres with his final stone makes the hit. So it's Muyres with at least one. And the measuring stick right there handy this time.
Yeah, right at the home end, yeah. Might be the first measure of the day. I think only, 3 draws going this morning?
Just the 3 games on the sheet. Yep, 3 C event games, all of the winners in the same situation today. Anybody that wins this morning is back on the ice in a C qualifier at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have all the action for you here on SaskTel Curling Stadium. Well, I definitely think it touched both stones. And they're not going to tell us. So we know Dallan Muyres scored at least one. We'll have to wait to see if it's 2 when they put that up on the board. We'll find out right after this.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, you can see it on the scoreboard after the measurement. It was Dallan Muyres picking up 2 points in the fourth end. So as we begin play here in the fifth, Aaron Sluchinski with a 4-3 lead and last rock. Muyres' team throws up the long center guard. The come around to the edge of the forefoot. Now Dallan Muyres asking for, and I didn't see the indication. I thought he was coming right down to the face of it. Looks like that's what they're playing. Could be playing the second guard though. Does look like they're coming right down to it.
Just over curl, maybe just a hair, but
you take that though. It's left him an angle,
sure.
And he's got the angle from the side where he can sit shot rock as well. Aaron Sluchinski asking, we're at a second stone. No, this is lead stone still. Dylan Webster asking him to come down, sit on the corner of that. This is that ongoing battle for the angles. He wants to stay on the high side of this stone just a little bit. Having to brush now for a little extra curl just to make sure they get onto the yellow. Has the weight to nudge it a little bit. Pops it into the button area. It's shot rock now, but it is open. Dallan Muyres, I think, looking at freezing into the pocket. Thought about the guard. I think his first indication when he pointed up there is he's thinking, well, if you're short, that's okay. I don't think they'd ever just call the straight out guard here.
Yeah, I think so. I almost think they could almost play the shot that they just played, right? Because they know that ice, they know the line, right? It's the unnatural side to go, but you almost get in a place where you can almost kind of Christmas tree or the yellows there.
Does look a little more natural coming from this side, and you could get right into the pocket. There's kind of a, not just the pocket, the red yellow at the back, but even with that one red at the front, and they would have liked to get a corner around that stone.
Yeah.
There'd have been no good angles. Now they did get third shot out of it, but I think it's still overlapped on that red a little bit. I'm not sure they've got access to promote it onto the second shot stone. It is still a dangerous stone. Sluchinski looking to make a play on it. Looks like they're playing a little bit of weight at this. Try to get to the nose. They know they're going to chisel their own over, but because they're still overlapped, it's going to come back towards the yellow on the button.
Yeah, I was wondering if this is going to be too much weight here, but weight looks.
Now that is the sixth stone of the end, so if they kill the guard, it's fine. And they do. And that's, that's not a horrible result for Aaron Sluchinski right now either. He's got last rock in the lead.
No, not a bad situation here, but now Muyres can just put up a better guard, or he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to bring the play into the rings, right?
That's just it though. Which one do you guard? If you guard the yellow at the top of the forfeit, it's only third shot, but it's already tricky to remove.
Mm-hmm.
If you guard shot rock, you leave them access to that one, and they're going to angle it onto shot.
Yeah, I think you just have to tighten the straddle center. Is all you can really ask for, and see what Sluchinski leaves them. Yeah. So it looks like they are going to go type it, maybe just on the green side center there.
pretty effectively guards the shot rock, does leave access to second, and from the angle that Sluchinski would need to put it onto shot rock, and I think that's what he's thinking about. He could straight out peel the guard again. Not sure this time. He did indicate they wanted to stay. There's two ways they could do this. They could hit it on a bit of an angle and just stuff it on the one on the button. Or if he could get to the nose, because it is going to touch the side of that redstone, that would chisel the red out a little bit farther, a little bit wider. And you're still going to have that yellow going back towards the stone on the button. Chisels it there directly. Does move the red off the side of the 4-foot and ends up angling the two reds at the top of the 8-foot away from the yellow. My first thought is advantage of Dallan Muyres right now. The angles didn't really work out for Sluchinski on that.
Yeah, just the way those reds are kind of lined up, there's...
Well, that may be why. I think Aaron's thought was they wanted to get to the nose and maybe have the Yellowstone rub the red that was right beside it, and it didn't do that. It passed by it, so it didn't move that stone at all, and ends up moving the other red. And when everything comes to rest, the angles right now appear a little bit more favorable for Dallan Muyres. He's got a shot on that stone at the back of the 8-foot and room to roll it into the back 4 and perhaps sit 2 here. Garrett Springer with a nice hit and roll there. It is. Dallan Muyres sitting 2. No good angles for Sluchinski, so looking to make a play on the guard. And are they just straight peeling it here, do you think, or does he want to try to run it back?
I think he wants to try to run it back here. I guess the problem here is that ideally you don't want to kill the back red one here, but... Straight peel.
Yeah, it looks like a straight peel. It looked like a lot of ice to me for the run back.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of room between them. You make the straight peel and force Dallan Muyres to replace the guard. I mean, that last guard was almost perfect when you're trying to guard the stone where it is. Garrett Springer will try to put it back without leaving any angle.
Yeah, and he can afford to be maybe just a hair on the high side here, right?
Yeah, true. Sluchinski's not going to want to run it towards the reds. Overcurl a little bit, he might try to run it across the top. Mind you, if you overcurl by half a rock, he's going to make a direct play on shot.
Yeah. Did he leave a port?
He did.
Yeah, that's how precise you've got to be here. I mean,
yeah, we've talked about it. Talked about it before. If you're calling for a guard on the second logo and you only throw it to the first logo, it hasn't had enough time to curl. It is a tough port.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there. It's just a question of the weight, and I think that little tap on the hip's pretty universal. Bumper weight. They can hold a line through the port, actually. If you make the port, you've probably made the double.
Yeah.
Chance here for Sluchinski to really flip the end on one shot. Jeremy Hardy has to get by his own at the top of the 8.
Wow.
Just by. Makes contact with the second stone. Doesn't remove it, but he is sitting 2, and where that Yellowstone rolled to, the 2 reds are probably lined up to it.
Yeah, that's pretty wired here.
That's why you've got Dallan Muyres looking at not just hitting this, but he might like to break up the angle on those 2 reds.
Gosh, can he get to that side?
Yeah, he can. Well, to one of them, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Again, without the overhead, it's hard to tell how high that stone is, but and we'll get to that view in a minute. But as long as he nudges one of those two red stones, he changes that angle towards the yellow. Ideally, you'd like to get to the one in the 4-foot.
Yeah.
You don't have to get it all the way out, but it'd be nice to move it far enough that you're sitting 2 after this. Although, with that amount of ice, I don't think he's looking at moving it very far. He's throwing this considerably quieter. Jeremy Hardy, with board weight on his last attempt, they had the broom on the edge of the rock.
Yeah.
This just looks like a ton of ice. This has got to be like a backline weight. He maybe is what he's trying to do here, come across the face of that, make the hit and roll behind the center guard.
I mean, that's what the ice looks like here, but the way where he's kind of tapping for the shooter.
Boy, and this is really going on them. Makes the hit, does.
Yeah.
Get an inch or two in behind the center guard. Still maybe the sliver of his rock exposed. And I think Sluchinski's sitting shot rock right now. Could you not hit the red, yellow right in the middle and the two yellows both go, though? Half a rock on the red.
Yeah.
Both yellows are gone and all 3 reds are still in the rings.
Yeah, and you're probably you're tucking a piece there, right? Maybe not all of it, but well, actually, I don't know.
You get rid of the overlap on your 2 reds too. The fact that those 2 are angled away from the button has, that hasn't been helping you since those rocks stopped there.
Yeah.
So if you break that up and the top one's not going anywhere, you'll be able to use it. This Kerr Drummond that had come down, that was what he was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to.
I don't understand. Right? Yeah, like
because Muyres is going to have to do something with that. I mean,
well, the yellow stone at the top of the 4-foot's a really good stone for Dallan Muyres. Yeah. It's a usable stone. He can promote it. The 2 reds you've got sitting there, because they're angled away from the button, they're not really helping you the way they are, and everything looks like it's queued up. The only thing I guess you might be concerned with hitting half a rock on the center line side. Do you get some drag? Is there any chance you miss the back one? But even at that, you kick the stone out of the top of the 4-foot area, the yellow stone out of the top of the 4-foot area. You leave 2 of your own stones up there. It's a better position. And boy, if it ever clips that back one, you could be sitting 3 after this. And Dallan Muyres may not be able to hit any of them and get shot rock. Makes the hit now. How are they going to spray it? Did drag a bit and only just rubs the one at the back of the 8-foot. Does leave Sluchinski sitting 2. And the shooter spun up a little bit, so actually might be room for Dallan Muyres to make the double. It's not a gimme double, though. I think the rock that he's got to hit first is a little bit behind the other stone.
Now, on that last shot, was it just hitting it just too thin for that drag effect to kind of push it over the top?
Well, certainly if he hits it thicker, it doesn't drag as much. But he couldn't hit it too much thicker and still get the second yellow as well. So it might have always just been a case of, because he had to hit it on that side, there was always going to be some drag. I still think he's better off like this. Like the 2 reds when they were wired together, again, because I said nothing, he didn't have anything on that where he could promote a rock towards the button. They weren't helping him. Here's a good look from the overhead. And yes, the rock that he's got to hit first is a little deeper than the other one, so he's got to roll really flat into the side of it. It is Sluchinski sitting 2, that yellow stone at the back of the 8-foot, his 3rd shot. You don't actually have to get the second one out, because when you roll across, you're going to hit the back end of it. You only have to move it up, 3-4 inches, and that stone at the back would be second shot. Needs some curl here, though. He does have to get to that rock.
That was getting dangerous to high-siding it.
Makes the hit, but it's still Sluchinski sitting one and a chance to draw wide for two. This discussion has to be about previous shots just to try to get the line. It isn't something that we see a lot. Again, we talked about it. The draw to the button prior to the game is the shot that there's a lot of focus on. So they know that path, but when you have to come this little bit wider to draw to what's basically the edge of the forefoot, or line for the edge of the forefoot, they don't get as many chances to play this. So a little bit of a discussion before Aaron made his way down to the other end, just as, is anybody throwing a shot out here? Do we know where to put the broom? You'll probably see Aaron discuss weight with the front end as well before he delivers the stone. Needs full 8 foot, almost a bite of the 4. Has to go wide, but he's already sitting shot rock. Chance to pick up 2 here. Brushers have been on this most of the way.
Yeah, I gotta go for weight here.
Line's not going to be an issue. It's a question of whether they can drag this far enough into the 8 foot, and now they've backed away a little bit, just cleaning. Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone comes to the edge of the 4 foot, puts 2 more points on the board. He'll take a 6-3 lead over Dallan Muyres after 5 ends of play.
Hey, wake up. There's so much out there to see. Look up, look down. Quick, look over there. Look for a little trouble, but not too much. Open your eyes to something new every day. The hustle, the bustle, the calm, the serene. Maybe then you'll see that sometimes you have to go far to get a little closer. So wake up. The day is far from over. Seize the days.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Sean Joyce, Mark No with you here from the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown in Swift Current. C-event action, 6th end just underway. Sluchinski with a 6-3 lead. They bring the first stone into the top of the 8 foot. Now Dustin Mikush with his first, looking for the corner guard. Winner of this game back on the ice at 2 o'clock this afternoon, where they will face off against Steve Laycock's team, looking for one of the 8 playoff berths. Quarterfinals starting tonight at 7 o'clock. Sluchinski with a 3-point lead here as we play in the 6th, looking to bring the second stone right into the rings. They did want to line these up. They might have been playing for the tap with the weight that he's got here. This is going to go right by it. Well, just gets a rub.
Yeah, I guess maybe would have been better just going on the other side, or?
Yeah, if they get it by, I don't know if they get it through. They certainly didn't want it in the back of the 8-foot like that.
Yeah.
Dallan Muyres down 3. Looks like they're opting for 2 corners here, and they're going to play them both on the same side. They've got the one tight one now, so they'll look to put this one up a little bit higher. This is a newer strategy. You've seen it in the last few years with the aggressive rocks and how late the finish is. If you throw corners on either side of the house, in a lot of cases, that'll take away both your draw paths to the button. So there are a number of teams that have started to take this approach where we'll throw the corner guards the same way we would if we were trying to steal in the middle, where we play a high one and a long one.
Yeah.
It still makes the double peel difficult later on in the end. And at least now, and in this case, it's the outturn side. You know you've got that outturn with your last one.
Are they talking this tap here?
Tap, or I don't even think they need to move that. If you're worried about getting a rock in the 4-foot, I think that's maybe how they got into trouble with the last one, throwing a little bit extra weight trying to tap it. Just put another rock in the middle. And the issue here, the reason you do this, pile all these rocks in the middle, you know that Dallan Muyres wants to play the end on the corner. You pile these rocks in the middle knowing that at some point in time, he's going to have to deal with them. And when he does, you're hoping that he's going to group them and you're going to have a chance to play a double somewhere along the line. For Dallan Muyres, scoreboard kind of dictates you need to play aggressively here. You got 2 options. He was looking at the come around first. I think there's some concern from the other end. We need to clean up the middle.
Yeah.
And you could, I mean, you could play the, you could run the guard, try to roll towards the corner. I think they were asking, can we roll into the house? And Dallan showing them how far out in front it is. That was the 2 hands on the broom you saw him show. He was trying to give them an idea. It's this far out in front, we'll never make the rings.
There's no like in turn, like kind of like just quiet tap and roll.
Boy, that would be a tough port with the in-turn and the reverse stagger.
Yeah.
I don't mind this call. It actually, and they're going to play with quiet weight. You're not really worried about how many ribs you're moving. You're worried about getting the one off the center line and try to get your shooter for corner guard on the other side.
Pretty good.
Bonus that you catch the one at the top of the house. Now all of the rocks work for Dallan Muyres. That redstone that's shot is well behind the tee line. It's something you can freeze to. Aaron Sluchinski going to have to start cleaning things up now. And really, even with a great shot here, you're going to peel 2 at most, and Dallan Muyres still has 2 rocks to work with to try to set something up here. So looking to play the double peel, playing it as a slash, and I think there's maybe some concern from the other end. Are we worried about running this onto our own stone at the back of the 8? But that rock at the back of the 8 is not helping you. So I don't think you worry about it. And this is probably and it's not easy by any means, but this is probably the easiest double peel you've got is the slash. Yeah. The only other option would be to play the more or less straight back one, and then you're probably not losing the shooter. Going to be a little thick on this. Does lose his own stone at the back of the 8-foot, but when he rolls the raised stone out, that still takes away 2 rocks that Dallan Muyres could use. He does have a great situation in front, though. The 2 corner guards, pretty even. There's no double peel on the guards. So kind of the old rule of thumb, so to speak, with the strategy handbook, going back even before the free guard zone. You get the 2 guards like this. You try to come around the lesser of the 2 guards, if we can put it that way, the one that's not guarding as much of the 8-foot. You come around the guard, and this is taken off already. Plan B, can you tap it up?
Can you tap it? Yeah.
That had to have picked, because not only did it curl, but comes up well short. Now he does get the tap. into the rings and still leaves it about a half behind cover. But they're close together. Sluchinski looking at trying to kill them both.
Yep, just going across the face there. Yellow across the face of the one in the 12.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about this is the only concern is that we worry about running it in behind the corner guard. I don't think you worry too much about that. You know you're going to throw some weight here.
Yeah.
Anyway, the initial thought was you come around. It looks like they're going to make a direct play at Shotstone. Yeah, just because he doesn't want to spin it in. Doesn't want to risk spinning it in behind the corner.
Sure.
Again, with a 3-point lead, I mean, if you spin it in behind the corner, you're looking at 2, but you get rid of 2 rocks here, and it's tough to get 3.
Yeah.
This needs to curl if they're going to hold the shooter. Needs to curl if you're going to kill the stone with the weight they threw.
Oof.
Does make it go away, but his shooter will hang in the back of the 12-foot.
Wow. Spun half a rock there at the end.
You might see Dallan Muyres go the other direction now. The old strategy handbook says you go behind the weaker guard, knowing that if they peel that, now you can come around the better guard. They're going to hit the open stone. You're still shot rock. But that rock in the back of the 12-foot changes things a little bit, because now you can have a guard in front and protection from the back as well. You might even play right down to this here just to try to entice Sluchinski into playing a draw.
Spun half a rock. Where is this going to end up settling?
Great line coming by. Boy, I thought with and Dallan was all the way back there. I thought they were perhaps looking to come down to that back one. Certainly if they get on the brush there, they could have been close to it.
I think so.
Looks like they were content to stay in the top of the house.
I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean, I think you would have wanted it closer, because now you can actually make a play and go over the top and keep the shooter now around.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tricky, right? But if you're ever able to remove it, is it 2?
Well, yeah, that's not really going to matter. You're going to be well behind the T line. But for Dallan Muyres, I think that's why I wondered if he wouldn't come down to the back one. If you come down to the back one, yes, it does leave Aaron Sluchinski room to draw in front of it and take it away. But do you not want them drawing in this situation?
Yeah, exactly.
More rocks in play just helps you. Manages to chisel it out the side. The shooter will roll out of play, so they'll have the same opportunity. Here's the call. He is looking to come right down to it. Rushers on this one early, and they have not left it yet. Now switching sides, there's a lot of room by the guard yet. More room than he had on the last one.
Definitely more room.
And in the end, maybe 8 inches more weight, but he got a little bit better finish. There's more in behind the guard this time.
Yeah, sweepers
a little
are definitely
deeper.
on it more, and so got a bit more finish.
Maybe enough to accomplish the goal, because you did get it behind the tee line and you buried a little more. So Aaron Sluchinski with it that little bit further in behind, and you know, it could be a factor that they barely make contact with the last one. Going to play the freeze here.
Yeah, and to your point, Sean, this is if you're Muyres, you like seeing them having to play this, right?
Yeah. I mean, Aaron could lock it right on the corner, and then you're still hard pressed to get your deuce, but really you can't just let him keep peeling rocks out of there. You gotta, this is, we talked about it earlier with Dallan Muyres, you make a choice, or you play in the easy shot or the harder shot. You forced him into what is a little bit trickier shot. A corner freeze is not quite as routine as just pick one out of the rings.
pretty good.
Well, is
It
it?
does bounce a little bit.
He nudged it a little bit. There might be room for Dallan Muyres to come down with enough weight to nudge it again. And Dallan's even looking at, even if we nudge it on the nose and move the yellow over a little bit, we're not going to leave a double.
Yeah.
Aaron maybe just 6-8 inches heavy on that last one. If he doesn't move the yellow, this is a much trickier shot for Dallan. He's not out of the woods yet. He's not in great shape, but he's got something to work with. And when you're trying to generate points, this is the kind of thing, it'll give you some optimism because you've got some rocks to work with. I'm not entirely sure that you couldn't get to the inside of that and get a sliver of your shooter underneath cover here too.
Yeah,
You'd miss the back yellow if you did that. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And he might like the idea of moving that over just to make sure he doesn't leave a double.
Yeah. I think you'd be pretty happy with either result. You don't want to hit it too thin, of course, right? And just kind of dead jam it, but.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, nose or low side, yeah, you'd be pretty happy with here. But.
Well, I'm even thinking 3/4 high side because he's not throwing big weight here. So you get about 3/4. The red's going to touch the yellow and then spin back in behind your shooter. So you'd have the red behind your shooter and the other yellow will be off to the side well enough that there shouldn't be any kind of double available.
Switching sweepers here.
He's close. They're off and on. It's real close to the line they're looking for, and this has really taken off. Well, he got the roll in behind and moves it far enough that he's sitting 2. They are dead buried, and if Aaron Sluchinski wanted to play the run back, I think it's going on to the Reds at the back too. So suddenly with a really good shot,
again. Wow.
All he's got left is the corner freeze, and after a great shot by Dallan Muyres on his first, the 3 is not out of the question here. Not a lot of room for error here for Aaron Sluchinski either.
Yeah, overhead cam. But I guess, you can be on top of the corner one or into the pocket if you ever can get there. So maybe you can't bounce is the tricky part, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you've got the weight to get into the pocket, you better make sure you're by the first one.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. This
is really curling. He's going to have to be on the top one for sure. And then it needs to stop. This is going to chisel a little bit.
Now we are getting higher in the house, so that guard's getting a little bit tighter here.
The guard's yellow. You could run it back.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's true here.
This is a shot for 3 and a shot to tie, and if you don't think you can make the same one, and it's tougher because it's now 2 rocks higher up, and you have to get to the inside to pass it by the line.
On this one you have to get to the inside, so.
The inside is actually a little bit undercover. I expect they're going to play the run back here. Not that a run back's a gimme. It's not an easy shot. No, but you need the multiple score here. You make any contact with that red, even if you lose the run back stone, you're getting 2. And it's there. If you absolutely nut this, you're getting 3, and we're all tied up.
Yeah, big chance here for Muyres to get right back in this.
You expect him to be close. The only thing that really gets him in any trouble is if he undercurls this. If you drive this across the top of the red, you're going to jam it on the yellows and probably only score 1.
Yeah.
Hit it right on the nose. And depending on the weight you throw, the shooter, the raised stone, still probably rolling too far, but that's 2.
Yeah.
And you'd take 2 right now. And if he hits it just a sliver high, it's for 3.
We will get to throw the out turn here.
And not throwing a ton of weight. They'll throw this where the brushes can control it. He doesn't need to whip it because he's hitting the first one close to the nose. This is a line shot more than anything else.
Yeah.
You can make this with bumper if you wanted to. It's all about hitting the first one on the right line. Nothing from the sweepers yet, waiting for this to curl. It's a long ways out there. I'm not even sure he's making contact with the red yet. We'll drive it by over the top, and that might have been the missed opportunity. It'll be a steal of one for Aaron Sluchinski with a 7-3 lead. Quick look around. It looks like we are going to turn around and play the 7th end. So Sluchinski with a 4-point lead. Muyres with last rock going into the 7th.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Hey, wake up! There's so much out there to see. Look up, look down. Quick, look over there. Look for a little trouble, but not too much. Open your eyes to something new every day. The hustle, the bustle, the calm, the serene. Maybe then you'll see that sometimes you have to go far to get a little closer. So wake up. The day is far from over. Seize the days.
Aaron Sluchinski with a 4-point lead here as we begin play in the 7th end. Dallan Muyres with last rock. They're going to have to pull out all the stops here. They need to count at least 2. And ideally, you'd love to count 3, which, you know, it does happen in the 5 rock free guard zone. In fact, Dallan Muyres had the opportunity with his last stone in the last end to pick up 3. But Mark, that's kind of been the story of the game. The same thing continuing on. The Muyres team, as much as anything else, what they've struggled with is finding the line on their hits.
Yeah, they have. And, you know, for that last one, I wasn't sure if it was line or if he maybe overthrew it just a hair. I think we had talked about wanting to throw kind of that nice control weight where the sweepers could do it. But, man, they were off that rock for a lot of it, hoping the weight would come down.
Certainly with where he had the broom, it didn't look like, if you match to your eye anyway, the weight to the broom, it didn't look like he was planning to throw a lot of weight because he did have a lot of ice.
Yeah.
Interesting that they've taken a different approach this end and that they didn't play the 2 corners on the same side. They've split the rings and left that second one high enough that at some point in time, too early yet, we're still just on the 5th stone, but there's going to be some angle there if Aaron Sluchinski wants to take a run at some kind of double peel. Could play it from the center line side thin and try to bring the shooter to get that tight one.
Yeah. And kind of surprising too, because that first guard was a pretty good, tight guard. So you think you just naturally throw a long one, but
well, especially when we saw them play it last end, it kind of looked like that. Every team's got their own preference as to how they want to play it, but it looked like that was the Muyres team preference. And if it is, they've certainly got the first guard where they want it to play it the same way this end.
Yeah. But I suppose at this point here, they're not really needing to access to the button to, you know, draw for their one, you know, so.
Probably not. They're probably expecting that because they need at least a deuce and maybe a 3. If you're going to get 3, it's likely not a draw. It's probably something like what he had in the last end where you might be running something in or playing some kind of double. But
yeah, I guess he's got some angles on both sides here, but I mean, clearly capable. You know, this Muyres is, you know, he's a veteran, and he made a heck of a shot. I believe in the first end
for his single, yeah.
Yeah. So, but gosh, man, if it wasn't for that, they'd be down a bundle here against a very sharp Sluchinski team here.
Oh, 2 corner guards and now the 3 reds in the middle, all in the line. So Dallan Muyres looking to come down, jiggle things around. Might have looked for a little bit more weight than that just to get something behind the tee line, but they didn't want to kill anything. It does change the angle on the redstones. They're not all in a straight line now.
Yeah.
It does leave the shooter where Sluchinski can make a play on it.
Yeah, probably more important. Was it more important there just to get to nose, you know? To avoid this here, because now Sluchinski can just kind of hit this out pretty cleanly.
Well, you get to know as you leave all 4 of them in the line. I might have liked to make sure you got something behind the tee line, but it's tricky because you're moving 2 rocks. You don't want to kill anything, yet you want to move it farther than what they did. Did change the angles, gives them something now to work with. They can get to second shot if they wanted to. Their 1 corner guard is pretty much completely choked off. Contemplating the hit and roll, and I think as much as anything else, part of the reason you're doing that is to give yourself a path to get in behind that corner somewhere. Not playing it to kill it. You saw the indication. Just tap this to the back of the 12. So basically like a split, trying to push the stone that was just delivered, the stone in the 12-foot to the back. Roll the shooter across to the corner guard on the other side. A little surprised they didn't switch the sweep to the other side. That might have been a plan B call where they realized it was heavy and they were going to try to get to the stone at the top of the 8-foot. Just rubs the one in the 12. And they lose the shooter. That's the most critical part of that one. By losing the shooter, it gives Sluchinski time to start peeling guards. Makes the peel, comes across into the side of his own stone, pushes it out. But again, by doing that, now no direct access in behind the corner guard from the intern side. You could come wide and get around the redstone. And
out turn side 4-foot. I mean, that's not great, but
well,
out turn back 4.
You've got 4 rocks left, and you need to try to score 3 of them. Do you not? Do you have a choice? Like.
What is top 12?
Top 12 and leave them sitting 4, and you still need to try to score 3.
Hitting this top 12 one.
Well, he's not trying to kill it. He's again just looking to push it back.
Yeah.
But I understand what he's thinking. That rock is kind of in his way, but you're running out of rocks to deal with it. And certainly if you're going to try to tap it on an angle like that, I think if you're going to tap it back, you almost have to try to tap it straight back and leave your shooter in a spot where, because you know Sluchinski just wants to make yellow rocks go away. If you tap it on the angle, you're going to roll over to the other side of center and he's going to have an easy shot to make it go away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, you can't go, I mean, tapping it back to the 8-foot doesn't really
straight
do
back, and it's harder for him to remove the shooter. Yeah, you can make a pocket too.
Actually, now I think about it, I almost like tapping the one that's on the center line, just on the low side, and maybe I'll just make a little pocket that way. See if this ever.
But yeah, I mean, even if that stops in the back of the 12-foot, the issue here is that you've made the Yellowstone.
It's open, yeah.
It's open with a way to pass it by. There's nothing for it to jam on as long as you hit on the edge anywhere.
Yeah. And honestly, if he ends up hitting the Reds one on the way by, he's fine with that too, right? Just hit this anywhere on the high side, and you're happy here.
Yeah, Dallan Muyres down to 3 stones left, and would like to count all 3 of them, and I don't know where you hide to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make a perfect come around, he just peels. This might be a situation where if you're going to try to score 3, you know, I get what he's thinking here. He's going to come around the yellow, but here's the thing: you make this perfect, he peels the guard, you're never getting more than 2. I think if you want 3 here, you have to draw to the back of the house around the 2 reds.
Yeah, back button.
Back 8 doesn't need to be shot. You know that Aaron Sluchinski is going to make a play on something, but you have to bury around. When you bury around 2 of them, there's a chance that when he does it, it's still going to be buried. With this one, if you make this perfect, he just peels the guard and guarantees that he's going to have an open hit for his last stone. If you don't make it perfect, he goes after it. It's pretty close to perfect.
Yeah.
I'd be peeling the guard all day. Like, why play a harder shot than you have to? 2 points, you give up 2, and you might not even be playing the 8th end.
No, yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised.
Interesting. This is interesting. He's not playing it. He's throwing the center guard. He's sitting 2, and he's throwing the center guard. This isn't a horrible call either.
No.
Dallan Muyres still has to deal with those 2 stones.
Yep.
Mind you, what's going to happen here? You're going to make the guard. Dallan Muyres is going to try to come around, probably try to move one of those reds and roll in behind the corner again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't like coming around from that side. I don't see anything good coming around from the in-turn side.
Yeah, where are you going for the out-turn?
The port's tough with the out-turn, granted, but it's there. That's essentially the shot.
I guess,
talking about the shot he made in the first end. It's essentially the same shot he made in the first end.
Yeah, it just visually it's super scary. But I mean, I guess that guard's high enough, right? That it's like you can swing it around there.
And if it comes down to it, the shot he's got for the last one, he does have his own corner guard that he can run in. I don't think you wouldn't play it here, because even if you made it, that would leave a second shot wide open. But if that was your shot for 3, that's the shot he's going to play.
Oh, is he going in-turn freeze on the low side?
Yeah,
and then run it later. And
yeah, the problem is that the Reds are already queued up from this side to jam. I don't see a good angle from this side. Unless he thinks he can. The guard is high. Can he get just over the top of the stone at the top of the 8-foot?
Yeah.
He needs to get at least to the nose, and if he could cross it a hair.
Yeah. Just cross it and then run it later. Ugh.
Well, yeah, you run the guard into it on the last one.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not great, but you're down 4 playing 7. You don't get to play easy shots. You're trying to line up an angle and then hope you can make the run.
Yeah, you're at skip stones and sitting 3rd. Not a great situation.
Definitely needs to come tight by the guard. It's close on the line. This is not going to curl quite enough, though, and Maybe more worried about tapping something than they needed to be there.
Yeah.
Leaves Sluchinski sitting 1. Muyres has 2nd and 3rd. The shooter did stay a sliver in behind the guard. You do have 2 or actually maybe perhaps 3 ways to get to that red right now, because you could play the port. You could, if you had to, play the angle run on the long guard, and you've got the short run on the stone you just threw. So Sluchinski can't really throw another guard. He can't guard all of those.
No.
And looking to come right in, has to be careful not to leave a run double. And I'm more worried about the short run double. The yellow-red at the top of the 8-foot, there's not a lot of distance between those two. So if he's playing the draw here, you got to think he wants to be back 4.
Back 4, yeah.
You don't want to be right beside it.
If you would have if he peeled the guard earlier, right, that corner yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
and he's hitting it right here, and it's no more than 2.
Yeah. Starting to go sideways now.
Will come to rest, back of the 4. Well, the only raised double I see now is the long angle raised double.
Long angle, yeah.
But again, if he makes it, it's for 3.
Yeah.
And that's the 3 he needs to probably keep playing. They're wondering, I think, boy, does he need the raise? Can he get the port and still hit that stone thin enough? Boy, it's close, isn't it?
It's close, but then you worry about the shooter here.
You worry about the shooter, yeah.
Either way, he's got to have
the angle run is coming from a better angle to make sure you stick the Yellowstone coming into the rings.
Yeah. It's going to be some sort of out-turn hit, right? And Muyres had this chance in the last end here, and we'll see if he's going to elect to play this angle run or just the straight hit. Yeah, because you're hitting.
Yeah, you're right. Through the port with the out-turn hit and the weight that he's got to throw to make the port, you're probably losing the shooter.
I think so. I think you have to play this angle. Yeah, because I mean, to get the angle and just through the port is what, like a third of a rock, right? And...
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to get it with. I think you could probably get it with a half, but again, because of how high the guards are, to hit half a rock on that, you got to throw some weight because you can't. You don't have room. Once it's through the port, it can't finish. Well, that means you got to throw some weight, and as soon as you got to throw the weight at half a rock, you're going to roll. Whereas the angle run in, because it's coming from an angle already.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to throw the port here, but
the port's an easier shot to manage just because you've got one less variable, but it's probably only for 2. Unless, boy, you could almost get the quad. I don't think it's quite lined up, though. I think in order to hit the first one thin enough to have your shooter catch on the back one, it looks to me like the first red dead jams. And to get the quad, you need it to come off the side of that rock and spin back and get the one on the back 8. I just don't think it's there.
Is he maybe trying to hit this a little bit thicker and then just roll and maybe touch the side yellow?
Well, he's definitely going to try to hit it as thick as he can because he's trying to hold the shooter.
Yeah.
So just whisker the one at the back of the 4-foot. Again, he doesn't have to get it out. He's got to get it out of the 8-foot. We're about to find out if he makes the port, first of all. And they just lost it at the end, sweeping for curl and puts it into the guard. It'll be a steal of 1 for Aaron Sluchinski and handshakes. Aaron Sluchinski with the 8-3 win here in this C matchup over Dallan Muyres. Sluchinski will move on to play Steve Laycock at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and the winner of that one moves into the quarterfinals tonight at 7 o'clock. We will have all of the action for you here on the SaskTel Curling Stadium. You can see all of the games on the YouTube channel for all the draws. Quarterfinals tonight, Semis and finals tomorrow. On behalf of myself, Sean Joyce, my partner Mark No, we want to thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you back here at 2 o'clock for those C qualifiers.
Take care, everyone.